Suggestions for snacks on the go. Cool question. Don't worry about all these, expensive protein bars. You don't really need that, guys. End of the day, those things are really just going to cost you an arm and a leg, and they're not going to digest appropriately. Like Quest bars, I'm sorry, I don't really rock with Quest bars. There are some supplements out there. There are some really great, what's it called? Like snack bars and stuff out there that are amazing. Personally, a lot of people hate Cliff bars. They're not the best of macros, and also the ingredients aren't the best, but they do make these really good ones, and they're the Z bars for the kids, and those things are great. Alright, what's going on, YouTube family? I'm gonna do my first Q&A. So I'm gonna go on Instagram here and answer them. And these are all just my opinions, guys, based on what I've learned in school, what's worked for myself being an ectomorph body type. And everybody's genetics are different, so not everything is gonna be the same for any given individual. Nothing's gonna always be the same. So keep that in mind. Take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research. I always tell people that. I'm always hungry to learn myself. I'm always asking people who are ahead of me, hey, what do you do? How can I this, that, everything, the other thing? So always keep an open mind, and you'll keep learning and you'll keep progressing. So what do you think of supplements such as creatine and BCAAs? Creatine is a proven supplement. It's one of the supplements that is proven to work. I take creatine monohydrate. I take about 5 grams per day. I do suggest cycling on and off of it, every other month or so, at least take a week off. When you're supplementing anything at such an unnatural level, I would definitely suggest cycling off at least for like a week at a time. Do I do that? Not really. Well, actually, yes, I do. Like if I travel, I don't usually pack supplements, so those 3, 4, 5 days, I may not have any creatine at all. So it's just kind of naturally occurs, but BCAAs are a good supplement. I think they are proven to help a little. Do I think they're worth the money? Absolutely not. I don't think they are. It depends, really. If you have a lot of trouble with bowels and stuff when you're taking all these supplements and protein or whatever it is, or your high protein diet, whether or not you take a lot of supplements, but that's enough about those 2 supplements. I want to have a successful online training business like yours. Would you be open to meeting and discussing how to get started and what to do in order to do it successfully? Thanks. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's something that just takes time and word of mouth, and you got to prove yourself. So you got to show everybody, like, you got to believe in yourself. First of all, you got to have the confidence in yourself that you can do it, and then you have to show people. That was the biggest hurdle for me, was actually being okay with showing up and really showing the frick up. Like, just to put it frank, I mean, myself, that was the biggest hurdle, was like, it's okay to show up. Otherwise, people don't know that you're worth this, or that you're what your experiences are, or what have you, or what your lifts are, stuff like that. So you have to show up, and that's probably the biggest step, and just keep taking consistent, smart action, and prioritize and do one thing until it is done, even if it takes you, like, my brain just melted the last 2 weeks. I was building, I was writing an ebook, and it's still in the final processes of production, but I'm kind of done with my part of it. Getting it like proofread and analyzed and all of those things, and the cover's getting designed and everything. But you just gotta be hungry. You gotta be a good person. You gotta actually want to help. It can't be about you or finances. It just doesn't work if it's about that. I would suggest just really take a deep look at yourself. Know that you can do it. If you for 1 second feel like maybe you can't do it, or you don't believe in it or yourself, then don't even start. Like, get out now, because it's a hard road. A lot of times you'll get started with a client, and a lot of times stuff happens in life that you can't control, and you'll either lose that client, or that client will kind of fall off, and you got to be there to support them. And it can be a little draining, because you have to provide a sincere amount of support. You can't just be like, here's a motivational thing that I learned. You got to actually be empathetic and actually feel what they're feeling and actually be there for them. So it is kind of draining, and you got to be ready for that. You got to build up your own strength first and get out there and just get it. What got you into lifting? Love the videos, keep it up. Lifting for me, man, lifting for me, I got into lifting actually, I was lifting since the age of like 10 to 11 years old. However, I wasn't lifting consistently or seriously. I didn't know anything about progressive overload, anything like that, until about junior year of high school, where I got really serious, and I would go to the wrestling weight room after school. So I didn't have to pay for it because I couldn't afford a gym membership at the time. So I would go to my School had like a really decent, really small, but really consolidated everything you needed, benches, leg press, squats, all those things. And I had all of that, and I would go to the wrestling weight room almost every day after school, and I was following this program religiously. Like I was following this program, and I saw some gains. So that's what got me into lifting. And the reason I was really getting serious about junior year was because I got into pole vaulting about my junior year, and then into my senior year I started breaking like personal records. Your upper body strength has to be there, so that's kind of also what got me into like physique type workouts. How big are your arms in centimeters, please? Small. I don't really measure. I mean I may start measuring just to get my progress. Last time I measured my dimensions, to be honest, it's so variable based on water weight. If you had a lot of salt that day, if you worked out that day, if you worked out arms that day, they could be pumped with blood and stuff. It's usually very inaccurate and kind of just leads to discouragement because they grow super slow. You might actually make a lot of gains, but they don't look like you made a lot of gains right away. So you got to be, don't even worry about the number on the scale per se. Don't even worry about the measurements, because to be honest with you, it's not going to increase nearly as fast as you're going to want to see. You're going to want that momentum. You're going to want to feel like, oh shoot, wow, that was fast. Oh yeah, great. Okay, I have another inch in 2 months. No way. So what advice would you give to someone who wants to start a fitness YouTube account? Just start documenting. A lot of people are afraid, like, oh, I don't know how to edit video, I don't know how to make a cool background, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that. One thing I'll say, guys, is if you just like Google cheap video editing software, then you can just start. If you go on like Google affordable flip cam or affordable digital camcorder HD, you want to get at least 1080p, which is pretty much all of them these days. You'll be able to find a camera for like $100 and some. You can get it used off Amazon. You can get an Amazon tripod for like $20, $26 or even less. Just start recording. Most of my videos, even to this day, a lot of them are still, the creativity, the lighting isn't always perfect, and that's okay. I mean, that's not really, I want to provide top-notch quality for my channel, and I also want to be consistent with it. So instead of just thinking about it, I would suggest just start. That's my recommendation. Just start. Something done well is better than something perfect not done, if that makes sense. Just think about that. So can a 13-year-old have protein powder? Yes, and you also can have basically what I call natural steroids. Here's my point with the natural steroid statement. If you take your 13-year-old self to the gym 4 days a week and you sleep 8 hours a night, I mean sleep 8 hours a night at the same time, not play video games till 3 a.m. and then sleep till 12 p.m. and there's all that lopsided nonsense. Get disciplined, get serious. If you do 8 hours a night, even 7 hours of sleep a night, you definitely should be aiming for 8 to 10 though, and do a lot of compound lifts. Learn the form with the lightweight first. Build a foundation, build a foundation, build a foundation, and then once you build the foundation, your rotator cuffs, all the stabilizers are getting stronger. Once you get there, then you can hit those compound lifts with a lot more intensity. I'm talking like single rep sets of deadlifts, doubles, so only like 2 rep sets. That will boost your testosterone so high you'll have acne on your back, you'll have acne on your face, because you're telling your body like, hey, you better start pumping testosterone. And based on your age, you're at the perfect age to start doing that. I would say be careful, always talk to your physician. This is all just my personal advice once again, so take it at your own risk. But if you're 13, 14, you're into puberty, you need to be being careful, but you also need to realize you're at the max potential right now to gain the most weight as fast as you can ever. So like once you're done with puberty, it takes a lot more to gain 10 pounds of muscle than it did when you were like 15. So when you're 15, if you're eating right, your eating is on point, you sleep good, and you work out the right way, you should be able to gain 10 pounds in about a year. Pretty much no problem. Obviously a lot of dedication, a lot of consistency, a lot of work, but I'm telling you, I've seen guys make noob gains, which is when they've never lifted before and they start to lift, and it's like a biological switch that they get to flip inside of them. And what is more important to you in reaching your goals, success or failure? I would say the faster you fail and the more you fail, the closer you are to successes. So I look at failures as a learning experience, and trust me, I have a lot of those, and they don't stop. You got to be willing to fail. You got to be willing to be made fun of, shunned, isolated, and just hustle, and good things will come your way if you're putting good things out. I do believe that that's really important to do. I don't think success is something you should really aim at. I think you should kind of aim at just starting, and then you'll be able to see, okay, hey, stuff's starting to move. Oh, okay, this doesn't work, this does work. That was a huge failure. Okay, great, then I can just change this up and do something else, do something new, improve this, improve that. I don't like this, I do like that. Oh, that's great. Okay, so keep it up. So you'll be able to see. But the faster you fail, the faster you succeed. What to do when the gains are slowing? Take a good hard look at yourself in the mirror, and also realize that our human bodies have a biological peak point, so to speak. So with like weight gain, what I mean by that is, I forget what it was called, but I read it in like my exercise physiology book, I believe, a couple years back. And what it is there's certain body weights that once you achieve, it's almost like it becomes very difficult to maintain that level of body weight once you reach that. So for me, that's like 190. Anything over 190, I've never actually really reached it and held it for more than like a day, a half a day. It's like really, really hard. I can jump back up between like 170 and 190 with pretty much not that much of a problem. However, anything over 190, for whatever reason, even though I stay super lean, I have a lot room to bulk, so to speak, it's very difficult. There's like a biological line that just like, it kind of tells your body like, hey, this is as much weight as we're going to hold on to. And you can break through that. You can be super dedicated and consistent and count your macros, and you can do that. But the second you stop doing that, those whatever weight that you gained over that peak bulk weight or whatever is going to kind of start to drop, and pretty quickly. You see, probably in a week or so. And I'm speaking from my point of view again. So you might be somebody who's naturally just gains fat, gains weight. If that's you, then you might hold on to that weight a little longer, but so don't be discouraged, just expect it. Will you bring out merch like hoodies, etc.? Yeah, man, so I am actually going to be bringing out apparel starting pretty soon, actually, and I'm really super stoked about this, to be honest. And it's coming from Philly. I'm sourcing it from America, and it's from Philly because that's close to my hometown. So even when I flew back home this weekend to Philly, I passed a billboard, and it was from them. It was Rush Order Tees is the company. So, it's not like anything Lululemon type of tier of clothing, but it is kind of like that starting point for me. So I'm documenting that on this video now. Is like, yeah, I mean, if you want to get in on the entry level and support me, I really appreciate that. And what I got ordered is I'm gonna get some t-shirts, but then also there's gonna be a warm up like sweatshirt. So there's no hoodie, but it's like a clean sweatshirt, and it has like the big logo on it, and I'll show it to you guys. And on the back it has like the small font across the top between the shoulders and the trap area, so it's pretty dope. It looks super clean, and it's black, by the way, the color. So I'm super stoked to share that with you guys. What HIIT do you do, and how many times a week? Personally, with being ectomorph, I don't really have to do much cardio. I know, screw me, right? But it's true, and you don't want to do too much. However, I will say there is something very beneficial to going to do cardio on your off days. I would highly suggest at least taking like a half-hour walk, if nothing else. It just pushes the blood through the muscles, which pushes nutrients through the muscles, which causes growth, and you can be happy with that. So one of my buddies does cardio quite often, actually, and he has a pretty naturally skinny frame. That dude is just thickening out, and I believe it's because of the cardio, the blood. Train for bigger arms? Yeah, so training for bigger arms is actually relatively simple. I mean, when you're first starting out, you just want to do more, right? So more volume, and try to do sets of clean form, but like heavyweight sets, a couple heavyweight sets, throw that in there, stimulate the deep muscle fibers in there. Training for bigger arms, you want to focus on the triceps. So the tricep has, I'm so pale you probably can't even see the striations. That's frustrating. The lateral head, which is the outside, and then there's the medial head, which is the huge slab right here that kind of hangs down right here, and then there's also the third one. So I want to hit triceps like mad, and the best ones to do, I'm going to actually just share with you, will be skull crushers with the easy bar. That will build mass, and also dips. Do dips like no other. And I would suggest, by the way, this is a pro tip, because I had shoulder impingement, don't worry about weighted dips until you can do multiple sets of crisp form with body weight 20 rep sets. Yes, so 20 rep body weight sets of crisp, clean form, excuse me, on triceps dips. Don't even worry about weighted. Your buddies will be doing weighted dips for 10 reps. That's great. I've done that so many times, hundreds and thousands of times. That's a good one to build mass, but make sure before that you can do 20 rep sets, at least 3 of just your body weight. And then the next time you can throw some weight belt on. Protect your shoulders. What do you think about calisthenics? So calisthenics is bodyweight training. I believe it is probably the best form of training, to be honest. If you're like a really, really petite person, especially if you're a petite female, you should be doing some weight training for sure. But calisthenics is the best place to start. I honestly believe that is the absolute best place to start. If you've never lifted before, you should be doing everything bodyweight. Like the previous question I addressed, building bigger arms with tricep dips. Don't even worry about weighted dips. Worry about bodyweight first. So calisthenics, huge plus, huge go-to, very good. Are you thinking of doing a powerlifting type of routine sometime? Honestly, I've just started reincorporating powerlifting into my workouts. I'm starting this chest strength building program to bring up the mass in my chest and also my strength. I feel pretty strong, pretty stable, my spine healing and everything, so I'm gonna get back into that. I did just hit deadlifts last night, starting back really slow, really controlled, and just really focusing on the contraction more than the weight right now, guys. Just because numbers are great, but it's really all about how you lift the weight, not what number you're lifting. And the older I get, the more I realize that. Much respect if you deadlift like over 500, 600, even reps with 400 plus, that's awesome, and I commend you for that. Just be careful, because when you're 40, it really does wear and tear on your joints. I've talked to multiple ex-powerlifters, multiple ex-bodybuilders, and they really regret doing, just basically it trashes your joints, trashes your body. So do the power. My best suggestion would be do the powerlifting movements and the exercises, but don't crush it. Don't go crazy blasting music, 5 scoops of pre-workout, smashing the weights. Don't do that, because you're gonna end up hurting yourself. Even if you can pull 600 plus pounds off the floor and you only weigh 160, getting so many surgeries by the time you're 40. So, and that's just a fact. That's not an opinion. That's just not even a fact. That's a law. So I mean, play at your own risk, but I'm not gonna tell you to stop. It's fun. Deadlifting, powerlifting, all that's super fun. How the star do you reach your protein goal for a day? Even with supplements, it's hard for me to reach 160 grams, so it must be his body weight, maybe he's a little less. It's super hard, I will say, and that's why this is an expensive sport. That's why this is also a sport of dedication, and I would suggest going online, looking for a reputable source to find like a good bulk grocery list that you can get on a budget. The point is to hit those macros, those protein macros I almost never do each day, just because it's so difficult. I can't really have dairy, and that just crushes me, crushes my weight gain, everything. So anytime I have dairy, it wrecks my insides. Also helps, it makes me break out, it makes me have like a foggy brain. Even if I have organic yogurt, it's still, I found, is not good for me. So yeah, I would say supplements can help. Protein, obviously, if you want to consider whey protein a supplement, you can. I do, because it's bottled and powderized. Yeah, so you can do that. I also suggest making sure, a big help is on Sundays before your week really gets started, or whatever day your week starts, go into your kitchen and meal prep for the week. So just grind it out, spend an hour or 2 hours in meal prep, freeze, if it's chicken, put it all in a Tupperware, separate Tupperwares, meals, and then just freeze it, and you'll hit your macros. It's just, it's hard. So you might want to eat more frequently, more like 5 to 6 meals a day. But again, if you want to really hit those macros appropriately, you need to be eating more meals than the normal person. That's just the way it is. Even if they're smaller meals, yeah. Suggestions for snacks on the go. Cool question. Granola bars are great. I like Kind bars because they're generally pretty good ingredients, good macros. They're a little sugary, but almost any bar you get are almost all loaded with sugar, cocaine to the brain. Even if it's a healthy, like Nature Valley granola bar, most of those are just mostly sugar, guys, so just keep in mind. Yeah, I would suggest nuts, mixed nuts. If you can't have those, it gets difficult. So, I mean, healthy granola type bars. You can make your own, like coconut bars. If you look up like a healthy, Dr. Axe, A-X-E, has an awesome recipe for these coconut bars. Just get a little bag, pack up all these snacks, and you'll be good to go. Take them with you. I would suggest like packing 3 bars a day. Even if you don't eat them all, just keep some in your bag. Don't worry about all these, expensive protein bars. You don't really need that, guys. End of the day, those things are really just going to cost you an arm and a leg. Best cheat meal restaurants, anywhere that has, it's not a chain, that's a donut shop, I'm there. Like, that's my cheat meal. Also, being from Jersey, pizza. So Brothers Pizza, man, there's so many pizza joints, especially in Jersey. Alicia's, like, those are my favorite. There's a buffalo chicken stromboli. Oh my gosh, out of this freaking world. I love it. Just a couple pieces of pizza, couple big pieces of that buffalo chicken stromboli, and my goodness, dude. Oh, game over. And then maybe a couple donuts to finish that off. That would be my personal cheat meal. What do you drink at Starbucks? I don't drink Starbucks. No hate, but also no love for Starbucks because they're very much, no thanks. Way overpriced. Their products aren't that good. Macros are never really good. So a couple more questions here, guys. How often do you set 1 rep max PRs? Once a year, to be honest. I'll go for like a 1 rep max. I usually just go for 1 rep max, maybe once a year, maybe every 6 months. It really just depends on how things are going. If I feel super strong one day and I just want to have fun, heck yeah, I might warm up for a while and then go for it. If I got a buddy there or a friend spotting me. But again, I don't think you should aim for a number. A lot of people get hurt. I watch a lot of people, my friends, who can't lift anymore because when they were like 17, 18, they went in there and they were like, yo, I'm getting 500 pounds today no matter what. All my humble opinions, and everything is based off of my own experience, my own education. And so most of the stuff has not been self-taught. I've learned from others. I've learned from academia. I've learned from experience. I hope they help you guys out. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.